up, we're taught to be kind, to be generous, to live with a sense of justice. We're taught that these virtues are our currency for good things in return, as if our kindness will somehow purchase the same from others. But how often does the world really operate this way? In reality, the simplest acts of compassion can demand the most effort, and more often than not, it's money, not kindness, that drives people to action. In the corporate world, in charity, even in relationships, everything has a price tag. It's a harsh lesson that kindness alone rarely buys respect, admiration, or loyalty. Politicians and corporations often sell us dreams of unity, peace, and equality, but it's a narrative spun mostly for their own gain. They're marketing to young, impressionable minds, filling us with the illusion that humanity has some inherent virtue beyond greed, beyond lust. And yet, beneath it all, we're each propelled by a relentless urge to consume, to amass, to own. We've turned each other into commodities, assigning worth not by character or action, but by wealth and status. In truth, the world measures our lives by the wealth we acquire, not by the lives we touch or the good we do. You could spend a lifetime in service, never asking for anything in return, but in the end, society will weigh your memory against the riches you leave behind. Wealth, not virtue, drives the respect we seek, the admiration we crave. We teach young men and women that success, respect, even happiness are defined by the relentless pursuit of wealth. Money becomes the measure of life itself, as each generation chases the same hollow promise. Money, money, money. It's what makes the world go around. And so, we walk through life caught in a paradox. We crave meaning, purpose, something to make the weight of our existence bearable. But in a world governed by profit, our pursuits are relegated to numbers, devoid of intrinsic worth. The absurdity lies here. In our desperate search for meaning, we cling to systems that are fundamentally meaningless. We become so engrossed in the chase for wealth that we forget to ask ourselves why we're running in the first place. We want to believe that there is some grand design, some moral balance, but life continues to move, indifferent to our efforts. Absurdist philosophy tells us that the human condition is defined by a perpetual tension. We long for clarity, for purpose. In a world that refuses to give it, we wrestle with this silent universe, waiting for an answer that never arrives. And so, we invent meaning. We build systems, structures, and values that we pretend hold some ultimate truth. We tell ourselves that hard work, money, respect, these things will bring us peace. But it's a comfort we've created, a way to soften the brutal edges of, well, an indifferent reality. Maybe that's why we idolize wealth so deeply. It's not about the money itself, but the illusion it brings, a semblance of order in chaos. With enough money, we believe we can build lives that matter, purchase purpose, buy time. But the more we accumulate, the emptier we feel, as though the very act of possessing drives us further from the meaning we seek. Paradox of wealth is that it feeds on the one thing it cannot provide, a reason for being. And yet, here we are, seeking direction in a world that offers none. The absurdist would say that this is our fate, to search, to create meaning in a void, We could reject it, abandon the pursuit, or we could embrace the absurd, acknowledging that perhaps life's only purpose is to live it, to act, to rebel against meaninglessness by inventing our own. In that act of rebellion, perhaps we find freedom from the chains of wealth and status. We realize that in a world without meaning, we are free to create our own, not bound by society's promises, but guided by our own truth. Money may make the world go round, but it doesn't have to be what drives us. We can exist beyond the chase, beyond the price tags, finding depth not in wealth, but in the quiet, absurd beauty of simply being alive. But that leaves us tackling with the consequences of our truths. Ayn Rand once wrote, "Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver."